Good afternoon. Am I audible? So once again, good afternoon, everyone. I welcome you all to the third day of 7-day national level online faculty development program on outcome-based education and essential AI tools for teachers, which is being organized by the Internal Quality Assurance Cell of Carmel College Autonomous Mala, Thrissur, in association with the Kerala State Higher Education Council. So we would like to welcome Dr. Mendes Jacob, Director, PG Department of Computer Applications of Marian College, and all the FDP resource persons, managers, directors, principals, vice principals, representatives from management, HODs, IQAC coordinators, and all the faculty members. So about this FDP, as you all know, this will be a 7-day program with live sessions held at the same time from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And the same link will be used for all the 7 days. So if you are unable to attend a live session for any reason, recorded sessions will be accessible on the learning management system, that is LMS, on the next day. So if you have any trouble in attending the online session, you could join the YouTube live session in the link given in the chat. So all participants who have paid the processing fee will receive access to LMS video recordings for all days and a participation certificate through the LMS. Please remember that only those who have made the payment will be able to avail the LMS access and receive a completion certificate. Others can only attend the online sessions for free. So for any queries regarding LMS and LMS access, kindly contact the numbers that those are given in the chat. So my name is Rakhi Raj. I'm a business analyst at IPSR. I'll be the moderator for this event. So now let's move forward with today's session by Dr. Mendes Jacob on the topic mapping of outcomes, attainment calculation and tools. Dr. Mendes Jacob, the professor and director of MCA program at Marian College Kuttikannam, Autonomous, and the former director of School of Applicable Mathematics, MG University, is an academician and an entrepreneur with 35 plus years of experience. He is also the CEO of IPSR Solutions Limited and the director of Valiant Technologies in UK, USA, and Canada. He acted as chairman and member of many academic bodies constituted by the university. He is also a member of academic and administrative bodies of autonomous colleges, engineering colleges, and business schools. He received the Best Entrepreneur Award from Chief Minister of Kerala and IT Education Excellence Award from the Defence Minister of India. He is a PhD in operations research and has to its credit a number of national and international publications. He is a research guide of Lincoln University, Malaysia. He has served as a resource person for many national and international seminars and conferences in mathematics, management, and computer applications. He has organized, conducted, and served as resource person for a number of faculty development programs, including UGC-sponsored refresher courses. So his area of interest includes national education policy, outcome-based education, accreditation, etc. So I welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Ragi, for the nice introduction. Good afternoon and welcome to this section on mapping of outcomes and calculation of attainment level. For the last 2 days, we were discussing about Bloom's taxonomy, of outcomes, course outcomes, or program specific outcomes, etc. So today we will just go through the attainment calculation. For that, we need, first of all, we have to do the mapping, how the mapping can be done with the COPO mapping, COPSO mapping, etc. So before that, I think some of the faculty members or participants are yet to join. We will just have a revamp. Am I audible? I think somebody is mentioning in the chat that I'm not audible. Am I audible?
Voice is little low, sir.
Okay, yeah. Is it okay now?
Yes, sir. It's fine now.
Okay, we will just start with an exercise so that we'll see how much you are aware about Bloom's taxonomy and all, because Bloom's taxonomy is very much important when we go for outcome-based education. So I will share a Mentimeter link in the chat box. Just you can go to that link and you can give your responses there. So there's a link in the chat box. Please go to that link. And this is the question. Frame questions on GST from K1 to K6 levels. GST is known to everybody. It's goods and service taxes. So we can just frame your questions. Go to that link and just frame a question on GST. Suppose you are framing a question like, what is GST? Then a hyphen, you can mention that knowledge level also. What is GST? We can understand. No, it's a K1 level. Similarly, if you are framing questions from an analyze level, just put K4 there after framing the questions. You can go to that link. Otherwise, you can do one thing. You can go to menti.com. Just go to menti.com. And there is a code written on the top of the screen. Those who have joined through YouTube, you can go to menti.com and you can use the code which is given in the top of that screen. The code is 45157054, so that you can give your responses there. So we are getting some questions like expand GST. What is GST? Analyze the impact of GST in Indian economy. That's a K4 level question. Again, is GST applicable on food products at a hotel? So it's mentioned as a K3 level. How you evaluate the tax system of India? Okay, it's a K5 question, K5 level. So we are getting very good responses. That means, yeah. Now you are able to frame questions on any topic based on the different knowledge levels. Define GST, explain GST in detail, analyze the pros and cons of GST, how you evaluate GST. So very good. So we started from remember level, K1 level, and ended up with the K5 level. Explain GST in your own words. When GST introduced, when was GST introduced? Okay. What does GST stands for? K1. Good. Interpret the importance of GST. Is it a KSHEC level? There's a question. Expand GST K1, explain GST K2, explain GST K3, 4. Applications of GST K5, interpret the importance of GST. It is not KSHEC. Sorry, interpret the importance of GST is not KSHEC. It's maximum K5. Okay, good. So we are getting some responses. This is only an exercise for you. We'll have 30 seconds more. So what you can do is, I have shared the link in the chat box. You can go to that link and open the link and you can give your responses. Otherwise, you can go to menti.com. Just go to a browser and type menti.com. Open that website. Then you can use the code 45157054. You can give your response there. Suggest any improvements to GST. How was GST implemented by the government? Please put your the knowledge level also against each question. Evaluate the consistency of a system of, okay, suggest any improvements to GST. That means the student has to study about GST, he has to analyze it, then only he can suggest improvements. Okay, so these are higher order questions. So we can have different knowledge levels, different questions based on different knowledge levels. Good. So we will end up with this poll, and one more poll I will give you. This is a statement. Okay, I will share the link again. The same link you can use. Once more, I will share the link for the latecomers. For semester exams, your opinion. Or you can go to menti.com and you can type the same code that is given on the top of the screen. Can we frame questions on create level for semester exams? Yes, no, yes. Discuss the impact of GST on market. Okay, no, we can create. We can frame questions on create level. Definitely we can create questions on create level. My question is, can we ask create level questions for the semester exams? Okay. If that is the only question that is asked for 100 marks, okay. Within the restricted time, it is not possible. Not for introductory level subjects, little difficult to implement. It is applicable for project work, okay. Yeah. So we are getting some good responses, very good. So 30 seconds more. You can not really, no, yes, yes, but suited for arts and humanities, for science project should be given. Okay, create an alternative model to GST. Yes, yeah, that is a create level question. My question is whether we can ask this question in the semester and exam. So if the student wants to create an alternative model to GST, the student has to study all the models available there. Like there is watch system in the UK, GST in India. So the student has to go through all the systems, has to analyze it, evaluate the pros and cons. Then only he can create a new system. So in 3-hour exam, may not be possible. Most of the case, maybe it's difficult to solve a create level question. Okay, answer a create level question. So it's better you can have the career level assessments for your assignments or a project work, for your continuous assessments. Okay, so that's all with this call. Now we will, yeah. So we'll start that point where Sunil sir stopped. So we'll start with the OB process, the levels of mapping and all. Now we have gone through the program education objectives, the POs, PSOs, COs, etc. And for a particular topic, we can have a topic learning outcomes. Okay. So this is the structure of mapping. Like can map the topic learning outcomes to different COs. See, for example, for a module, we have a CO. So if there are 5 modules, we can have 5 COs, CO1, CO2, and CO5. And for each module, we have different topics. So for each topic, we can have different outcomes, and we will be measuring those outcomes by using assessment strategies. Or maybe we'll be conducting exams, we'll have assignments or seminars like that. So we will map each of these topic learning outcomes to COs first. Then COs in turn will be mapped to POs and PSOs, both. Suppose we have n number of COs, and all these n number of COs should be mapped to POs and PSOs. So this is the mapping structure. So we will try to do with some examples so you can easily understand what it is. So how we will have assessments in OB. So the final assessment is done by the estimation of program outcome and program specific outcome, which will serve as a profile of the student's competencies. So at the end of the program, we can calculate the attainment of POs and PSOs. And COs are calculated or estimated at the end of the semester. That means after the completion of the course. And COs are estimated from the component learning outcome of the activity related to that course. So for each course, when we teach a particular course, there are a number of activities or assessments. Through these activities and assessments, we will estimate the CO attainment. So the first step in this process is to determine the mapping of the related components and determining the strength of mapping. So how will we map the COs with the POs and PSOs? We will see how it is. This is a mapping scale which is followed by many institutions. This is a 4-point scale. That means 0 to 3. And this is the scale. This is the interval. Okay. And this can vary from institution to institution. You can have a 5-point scale, or you can have a 6-point scale. It's not a problem. Okay. So here, just for the for this demonstration purpose, I'm using this mapping scale. That means if it is 0 weightage, means 0% attainment. Okay. Suppose the student got 0% mark, then naturally the weightage is 0. And this mapping scale we are using for mapping of COs also, not only for attainment calculation. We are using the same scale for mapping. So 0 means there is the relationship, there is no relationship. And if it is between 1 to 50%, we can say low attainment or low relationship, both are same. And the weightage is 1. And 51 to 70% interval, we will consider a moderate relationship, or attainment also moderate. So the weightage is 2. And 3 is the highest significant attainment, 71 to 100%. So this is the scale we are following. Now, coming to the level 2 mapping. Level 2 mapping means the questions, suppose we are framing questions for the exams, or we are having assignments or seminars or other activities, continuous assessment activities. All these activities and assessments, we have to map with the respective CUs. Okay, now we will have an example. Like we have a course outcome. We can write the course outcome based on the Bloom's taxonomy levels. You can have an application course outcome, application level, or you can have an analyze level course outcome, or maybe an understand level course outcome. So you can write a course outcome based on the topics you are delivering in that particular module or unit or a particular area of your syllabus. Okay. Then the activity or question. You may be framing questions from that particular topic. It can be a K1 level question, K2 level question. So that depends on the level of action verb. We use action verbs for framing questions. Okay. Then for the course outcome, there is a learning domain. And for this question, there is a learning statement. That is how we have framed questions and framed designed outcomes. Now, how the mapping is done? I will just give you an example so that you can easily understand. Now, suppose my course outcome for the course on Bloom's taxonomy, that was the first day's topic. The topic was Bloom's taxonomy on the first day. Okay, now I'm designing an outcome like this. On completion of this course on Bloom's taxonomy, the participants will be able to apply the Bloom's taxonomy in framing questions. So I have already seen that you are now aware of Bloom's taxonomy, and we can frame questions based on these knowledge levels. Okay, so this is a course outcome. Suppose this is a course outcome. On completion of this course, the participants will be able to apply the Bloom's taxonomy in framing questions. Okay, now how we will evaluate the student? So we can have exams or assignments. Suppose I have a question like this. Explain the different levels of learning in cognitive level. Explain the different levels of learning in cognitive level. Now, I want to map this particular question to this course outcome. So this is my assessment question. Now I am trying to map this particular question to the course outcome. The course outcome is also given. So what should be the mapping strength? Can somebody put it in the chat box? So 0, 1, 2, or 3. So you have seen the mapping scale. And what should be the mapping strength here? Okay. You have written moderate, then 2. Okay. Yeah. Not K2, mapping strength, I'm asking, mapping strength. So yeah, most of you have answered like 2. Somebody 3. Okay. Okay. To moderate. Yes. Now, look at this course outcome. The level of course outcome is application level, because the course outcome is application level. The participant should apply Bloom's taxonomy in framing questions. So that is the application level. But what about the assessment question? Which level it is? Explain the different levels of learning in cognitive level. Which level it is? So it's only in the K2 level. It's only in the K2 level, and the course outcome is in the K3 level. So we are trying to map this K2 level question to the K3 level CU. Okay, so we cannot have the full mapping. We cannot say it's 3. So we can put 2 there. Okay, most of the answers are 2. Now, another question. Using Bloom's taxonomy, prepare an application level question in your subject. Using Bloom's taxonomy, prepare an application level question in your subject. So, what about this question? And what will be the mapping strength? Course outcome is same. What will be the mapping strength? Yeah, many answers are coming. 3, 3, 3. Yeah. Okay, it's very clear now. So this question is in the application level. This question is in the application level or K3 level, and our CO is also in the application level. So we can map this particular question to the CO. So we can have the significant level of mapping. Okay, so 3. Now, I have another question. Suppose we have this course outcome, same course outcome. And suppose another question like this, I'm giving 10 questions to the participants. And I'm asking the participants to write the levels of each of these questions. So I'm giving 10 questions. And I'm asking the participants to mark the levels of those questions, the knowledge levels of that questions. What is the level of that question? 1, 2. Somebody has 5, 1, 2, 3. Okay, there is no 3. Okay, 3. Yeah. Okay. So suppose I am giving 10 questions. I'm not mentioning about the taxonomy levels or knowledge levels there. The participants or the student has to identify each of the questions to which level or what level it is. It is an analyze level question. It's a K4 level question because you are analyzing the questions, whether it, so to which taxonomy level it belongs to. Okay, so it's an analyze level question. Now, I want to map this analyze level question to this course outcome. The course outcome is apply level. What will be the strength of the mapping? My question is analyze level question. And the course outcome is application level. What is the level of mapping? 3, 2, 4. Okay. 3, yeah. Okay. So you can see the level of the question is higher than the level of the outcome. Okay. And according to the mapping scale, the maximum is 3, not 4 or 6 like that. So here the mapping will be 3 only because the maximum mapping strength is 3. We are following a 4-point scale, 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. And our question is an analyze level question. Okay, good. Now, another question. Suppose my course outcome is an analyze level question. Sorry, analyze level course outcome. My course outcome, I'm changing this course outcome. On completion of this course, the participants will be able to analyze a set of questions according to Bloom's taxonomy levels. Okay, I'm changing the course outcome. So it's an analyze level course outcome. And my assessment question is, the first question here, explain the different levels of learning in cognitive level. So my course outcome level is 4, K4, 4th level. And my assessment question is 2nd level, the first question in this assessment question. So what will be the level of mapping? getting my answers like 1, 2, 1, 2, etc. Okay. Okay. I will give you a formula for that. So for all the mapping related assignments, you can do like that. The formula is very simple. The level of the question is 2. The level of the outcome is 4 here. So 2 divided by 4 into 100. What is the value? 2 divided by 4 into 100. It's 50, no? It's 50. Yeah. So 50%. So 50 comes in which level? Mapping strength. From 1 to 50%, we have level 1. Yeah. Mapping strength is 1. So for this, the mapping strength is 1. Similarly, you can handle any situation like this. Suppose here, again, the course outcome is in the analyze level. The course outcome is in the analyze level. And suppose our assessment question is in the application level, the second question here. So what will be the mapping strength? Application level means 3. 3 divided by 4 into 100. 3 divided by 4 into 100, 75. Okay. So you can use a formula like that for the mapping purpose. Now, so this is about the mapping of questions or assignments or seminars or assessments, whatever you do, with the course outcomes. This is a second level mapping. Now, coming to the first level mapping. Okay, so we can have a table like this. Each question here, you can write the question numbers, then the questions, then for each CO. Actually, the CO is missing there in the top row. Sorry for that. You can have each question mapped to each of the COs like this. You will get a table. Now coming to the CO-PO mapping. So this is the level 1 mapping. The CO-PO mapping, that means each CO we have to map with the POs. Similarly, each PO, each CO we have to map with PSOs. So we will see how this CO-PO mapping can be done. Now, already you have gone through the POs, how to frame POs or design POs, how to write program outcomes out of graduate attributes. Okay, so if you have a graduate attribute like a communication skill, it's a very easy one. If communication skill is a graduate attribute, if you want to convert it into a program outcome, you have to write the program outcome. For that, the competencies, you have to list the competencies. So what are the competencies? For communication skill, we know reading is a skill, then writing, okay, then comprehending. So many things are there. These are the competencies for communication skill. So when we write the PO, these are the competencies. And when we maps a particular CO, course outcome with this particular PO, so we have to check how many of these competencies are covered by that course outcome. Okay, how many of the competencies in the PO, in that particular PO, are covered by this particular CO. Based on that, we can have the CO-PO mapping. Okay, so there we can use this the following table. Like, suppose we have 40%, more than 40% of the competencies are covered by this particular CO. We can have the full mapping. 3. So suppose there are 10 competencies listed for a particular PO, and around 5 competencies are covered by a particular CO, we can have full mapping. We can give full mapping. That means 3 for that CO-PO mapping. And if it is between 25% and 40%, we can give 2. And between 5% and 25%, we can have 1. And if it's less than 5%, there is no mapping. Okay. So in that way, you can map your COs with the POs. Okay. So this is the level 1 mapping. This is an example. We have 5 COs, and each of these 5 COs for a particular course are mapped with the 9 POs. Okay. We can have 1, 2, 3. Then there are zeros in between. So the important thing to notice here, every CO should be properly addressed by COs. For example, here you can see PO3 and PO4. Only one CO is mapped from this particular course. Maybe for some other course, you will get the mapping, required mapping there. Otherwise, when we calculate the attainment, we cannot get the exact attainment. Similar way, we can map COs with the PSOs. Here, this is an example of 5 COs of a particular course mapped with the PSOs. The same way, you can identify the competencies of that PSO, then you can map with that CO. For CO PSO mapping, almost all COs can be mapped with the different PSOs, because PSO is specific to a particular program. It can be an MCOM program or MBA program or MSc Mathematics program. So all the courses in that particular program definitely have a strong relationship with the PSOs. These are program-specific outcomes. So we'll get a mapping like this. Okay. So that's about this mapping, and we will just go to the attainment calculation now. So, okay, I will repeat the formula. The formula is very simple. You can have the level of the question, divided by the level of the course outcome into 100. COPO mapping range seems to be arbitrary. Okay. Yeah, you can fix a different range. That not be a problem, because that comes under when you prepare the OB manual for your institution. You can mention all these policies there. Okay. So I think we can go to the attainment calculation. Okay. Okay. Is it visible? The screen is visible?
Yes,
Am I
sir.
audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So we will just go through the attainment calculation. There are a lot of calculations in between. So I will do one thing. I will explain the process, because this process is very important. When you go for a NBA accreditation or a NAC accreditation, definitely when the peer team visits the institution, they will ask about the process, how you are doing the attainment calculation and all. But we cannot do it manually, so we have to use some tools. I will just to show you how we can calculate it by using a tool that also I will provide. Now, so I will skip some of these slides, because already we have gone through the introduction part. Now, what is the difference between the traditional system and the OBE system? We can see the traditional system is a teacher-centric, whereas the OBE is student-centric. And the traditional system, we have importance on teaching and content, whereas in the OBE system, importance on learning and process. It's very important. And the traditional system, knowledge-driven and rote learning, whereas the OBE system, learning ensures knowledge and performance. And this is the paradigm shift. Okay, this is the paradigm shift. Before going to the class, as a faculty, as a teacher, we will think like that. What should I teach today? Okay, in my class. But in the OBE system, we should think like this. What should my students be able to do with what they learn? Okay, that is the paradigm shift. So instead of the teaching, we have to shift our focus towards learning. I think all of you might have seen this somewhere in the internet, of maybe you might have come across with during your B.Ed course or education course. Learning happens when we teach others. No, more learning happens when we teach others. More active learning happens, or 90% of the learning happens when we teach others. Okay, and suppose the students are doing practicing something. Suppose they are doing a project work or they are doing internship, they will learn more. Similarly, through discussions or demonstrations, etc. And only 5% learning is happening through lecture. Okay. So that means we have to focus more on the other areas like projects or internships, or through discussions. Even we can assign some peer learning activities, something like that. Okay, 3 pillars of a professional. I will skip this one. Usually, the 3 pillars of a professional, they are knowledge, attitude, skill. Okay, otherwise we call it ask, attitude, skill, and knowledge. These are the 3 pillars of a professional. Now, considering the 12 attributes suggested by NBA, we can broadly divide them into knowledge, attitude, skill, and one more is that is habit, lifelong learning. Okay, it's only a broad division. It's not a tight compartment division. Now, this is what we have to calculate at the end of the OB implementation process. We have to calculate the attainment of graduate attributes or POs of each student. So if we can provide every student with a score sheet like this, that is the way we can complete the OB implementation process. Okay, this is the attainment out of 3. Just I have shown an example. Now, at the end of this section, we should be able to calculate, or at least we should understand the process of calculating the attainment level. Now, for this demonstration purpose, I'm having 9 POs. This is an example of program outcomes. These are the program outcomes of my college, Marian College Kuttikkanam. We have 9 POs designed like this. This is an example of a program-specific outcomes of a BCA program. Okay, so we have 5 program-specific outcome PSOs here. I'm considering this for a calculation of attainment. Now, suppose we consider one of the courses. This is a simple course, Introduction to Computers. This is a simple course, Introduction to Computers. So we have the first course outcome, identify the parts of the computer system. Then there are 5 course outcomes like this. So we have the POs, PSOs, and COs of one particular course. Okay. Now we can have other activities like outreach or industrial visit. We can call it activity outcomes. This can also be mapped to different POs or PSOs. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there will be predefined mapping scale. Now we are following a 4-point scale, and the same mapping scale we are following here. Direct and indirect assessment methods may be used in preset of proportions. So there are direct assessments and as well as indirect assessments. Direct assessments means all those assessments conducted by the faculty or from the college. These are direct assessments, whereas indirect assessment means we can conduct a survey among the students to assess themselves for a self-appraisal or something like that. Or otherwise, if you are sending them for a industrial visit, we can ask the industry people to assess the students. Okay, so these are all indirect assessments, but direct assessments means those assessments conducted by the faculty or from the institution. And components of assessment may be like semester examinations are there, regular examinations, other innovative continuous assessments, activities or events, personality assessments. All these can be part of the activities, and this will contribute to the calculation of attainment. And we can have n number of activities or assessments for the calculation of attainment. Some of them may be OB only assessments. That means it will not reflect in the mark sheet, but for the calculation of attainment, we will conserve them. So possibilities of components of evaluation numerous. Anything from a class test to a MOOC learning or a third-party online test could be used. Option to use innovative learning experience, such as you can use LMS and you can have some MCQs there. You can have question banks. You can have real-time classroom activities, aptitude assessment portals, quizzes and surveys, gamification elements, many things you can add. Now, questions in semester examination get mapped to different CEOs. Each and every question in the semester exam, and not only for the semester exam, even the internal exams, everything can be mapped to different CEOs. That we have discussed earlier, how we can map a question to the CEO. Numbering of CEOs, that depends on the institution. You can have a course code and see, for example, if there are 5 course outcomes, somebody was asking about numbering of the course outcomes. You can have, say, 5 course outcomes, for example, and a course code for the course. You can have the number for that course outcome based on that course code and the course. Okay. Other components may wholly or at rubric level get mapped to different outcomes that I will demonstrate later. COs are in turn mapped to POs and PSOs. General activities may also be mapped to POs and PSOs. CO attainments can be tabulated at the end of each semester based on student scores. And PO and PSO we can calculate at the end of the program. So the same mapping scale we are using here. Already we have seen this. And suppose we have completed the CO-PO mapping. Already we have discussed how we can map a CO with a PO. So based on the competencies of the PO, we can map each CO. So how many of the competencies in that particular PO is addressed by that particular CO? Based on that, we can have the mapping like this. So I'm considering only one course here, and there are 9 POs, and all these COs, the course outcomes of that particular course are mapped like this. And these are the activity outcomes for the first semester. So I'm mapping just to show that even activity outcomes can also be mapped. So we'll get a sample program matrix like this. Okay, a sample program matrix means here, the first column, we will list all the course outcomes. Okay. Suppose 101 is a course, and 101.1 is the first course outcome. Similarly, suppose we have 5 course outcomes, that means CO 1012, 101.1 to 0.5. Okay, 5 course outcomes would be there. The first column, we are writing all the course outcomes, the codes of the course outcomes. Now, suppose if you consider a BCom course, a BCom course means of 6 semesters, 3-year program. Each semester, you may have average of 5 courses. Suppose 5 courses each in each semester. So in total, we have 6 semesters, so that 6 into 5, 30 courses will be there for a BCom course. 30 courses for a BCom course, 5 courses in each semester. And each of these courses can have, say, for example, 5 course outcomes, 5 COs for each course. That means 30 courses into 5 course outcomes for each course. That means 30 into 5, 150 course outcomes will be there in total for the entire BCom program. An average of 150 course outcomes. So all these course outcomes are there in the first column of this matrix. Okay. And we can map all these course outcomes to different POs and PSOs. You can see each column represents POs, and the last 4 columns, the different PSOs. Okay. So we can have a mapping like this. This is a sample program matrix for OB. So once if you finish the entire program, means at the end of the BCom program, you will have a matrix like this, the last semester. So every semester, when we start the course, we can have the mapping with that particular course outcomes to the POs. And at the final semester, you will get a sample program matrix like this. Now, coming to the CO linked assessment plan. This is again only an example where we have 60% mark for weightage, whatever it is, for final exam and 40% for continuous assessments. 60% for final exam, semester end exam, and 40% marks for continuous assessments. And out of these 40% marks, it is divided like this: seminar 4 marks, assignment 3.5 marks, video presentation 4 marks, etc. So this is what the faculty has to do the beginning of the semester. This is a one-time activity. They have to plan a CO-linked assessment scheme. Okay. So for example, there is a seminar and I'm giving a topic based on the first module, or it can be related to course outcome number 1. So I'm giving a seminar topic, which can be mapped to CO1. I'm giving an assignment, which can be mapped to CO2. That means the topic of that assignment that will be related to CO2. Okay. So for video presentation, I am giving, there is 4 marks. So a topic related to CO3. You can change it. Just for an example, I'm mentioning this. And for group activity, from CO2 and CO4, that means topics related to CO2 or CO4. The same way for seminar, you can give a topic connected to CO1 and CO2. It is possible. Okay. Then exam 1, CO1, CO2, exam 2. For exam 1, I am selecting questions from first 2 modules, for example. So which is mapped to CO1 and CO2. Exam 2, CO3, exam 3, CO4 and CO5. Attendance, okay, that is considered as an activity outcome. Then final exam, 60% mark. So we have questions from the entire syllabus, from all the modules. So definitely it can be mapped to all the COs. So we have, suppose there are 25 questions in the question paper for the semester end exam. Each of these questions can be mapped to different COs. The entire syllabus is covered there. So this is an example of a CO linked assessment plan. So every institution can have their own policy, and every faculty can do it in a creative way. So this is where the faculty has to apply their thought, their creativity, and all. So how well we can design a assessment strategy in tune with the OB approach. That means more learning should happen through these assignments or assessments. Okay. So this is an example. Now, this is only a simple example. I will show you a tool where we can have a more complicated one, because manually, I can just demonstrate a simple one. Now, I'm trying to calculate the attainment by one student, one particular student. Okay. For seminar, out of 4, this particular student that's got 40% mark. And it is mapped to CO1. The student got only 40% mark. That means the attainment is 1. Because from 1 to 50% is a low level attainment. Our mapping scale is 1. And for assignment, the student got 85% mark. 85% mark, that means it comes under the range 71 to 100. So the attainment is significant level attainment. So we have 3. It is 3 there. Similarly, CO3, sorry, video presentation, 70% marks. That means that's a moderate level attainment. Okay. So similarly for each of these exams, exam 1, exam 2, exam 3, etc., the score of the student is given there. And based on that range, we can give the mapping, the attainment. Okay. 1, 2, 3, or that is getting only 0% mark, it will be 0. So now we are considering only the continuous assessments, not the final exam. The final exam I'll explain later. So for the continuous assessments, this is the score of the student. Okay. And suppose if you're using a tool, you need to enter the marks only. The last column automatically will come. Okay, if you are using a software or a tool, the last column will automatically come. Some questions in the generally unit 1 to 3 map to CO1 and CO2 are covered in the internal examination. Do we give them equal weightage in the final exam also? Okay, so all this depends. See, for example, is a question generally unit 1 to 3 map to CO1 and 2 are covered in the internal examinations. Do we give them equal weightage in the final exam? So this also can be a policy of the institution. Like suppose for the continuous internal exams, you are giving more focus on the first 2 modules. Then definitely for the final exam, you can give less importance for the topics from the first 2 modules, so that automatically the mapping will come down there if the questions are less. Okay, that is possible. Each course may have different credit weightages like 2, 3, or 4 credit. How do we map in such cases? Yeah, we have different credits. For example, if you have a 2 credit course, even you can have a 2 COs or 3 COs, that is enough in that case. That depends on the topic covered. You can define COs accordingly. Are the activities can be the assessment tools for COs? Yes, definitely. You can have activities for assessment tools for COs also. Okay. Okay. Now I think this is clear up to this level. Then we will go to activities mentioned here. No, this can be, yeah, these activities are a different type of activities. This is not related to the course. That's why I have mentioned it separately. Otherwise, you can have activities. For example, you can have a news analysis based on this particular course, or a video presentation. These are all, or any other activity you can connect with that course, you can put there. Okay. The assessment tools for CUs. Assessment tools for CUs. I couldn't understand, but maybe assessment tools you means assessment activities, no? Seminar, assignment, all these exams, everything are actually for assessing the COs. Okay. Anyway, we will have a Q&A at the end after finishing this. Now, how we will calculate? I already mentioned that I'm just going through a simple calculation method only to understand the process. So you can see CO1 appears in two places. CO1 for seminar and CO1 for exam. Two places in the continuous assessments. One for seminar and another for exam 1. And the attainment is, for seminar it is 1 and for exam 1 it is 2. So I'm taking 1 plus 2 divided by 2, just the average. This is the 1.5 attainment of CO1. Okay. Similarly for CO2, CO2 appears in three places. For assignment, CO2 is there and 3 is the attainment. For group activity, CO2 is there, 3 is the attainment. And for exam 1 again, CO2 is there and 2 is the attainment. So 3 plus 2 divided by 3. I'm just taking the simple average. So attainment is 2.6 to understand the process. But it should not be like that. You have to take the weighted average. I will show it when I explain it by using a tool. Okay, it should be a weighted average. Okay, so this is the way we can calculate the attainment of course outcomes for continuous assessment for one student. Okay, for one course. Now, coming to the semester end exam. For the semester end exam, this is the process. If you are an autonomous college or if you are a university, you will have the semester end exam question paper with you. Okay, formula I will explain once more. Sorry. This formula is very simple. I'm taking only the average. I hope you understand the attainment, how we got this last column based on the score of the student. But if one student is good in practical and not good in theory, then is that effect on the attainment? Okay. Okay. So these general questions we will answer later. I will just explain once more this process. Okay. I hope it is clear up to this level. Madam Sita Lashmi cannot understand. Please explain the formula. Is it okay up to this level? I hope it's okay up to this level, no? Okay. Now, consider CO1. Okay. Consider CO1. For CO1, the attainment is 1. Seminar is mapped to CO1 and the student has scored a 40% mark and the attainment is 1. Again, CO1 you can see here along with exam 1. Exam 1. We have CO1 here. So the attainment is 2. Because for exam 1, the student has scored 55% mark, attainment is 2. So here it is 1 for CO1, here it is 2. So CO1 appears in two places for seminar and exam 1, and attainment is 1 and 2. I have taken these two cases, 1 plus 2 divided by 2. That is the way I have taken the average, 1 plus 2 by 2. It's 1.5. Whereas if you consider CO2, for assignment, we have CO2, the value is 3, attainment is 3. Then for a group activity, again, the attainment is 3. And for exam 1, the attainment is 2. So we have 3 here, plus 3, plus 2, divided by 3, because it appears in 3 places. I'm taking the simple average. So 3 plus 2 by 3, that is 2.6. That way, we have calculated this attainment. Okay. Similarly, we can calculate the attainment of different CUs. Now, coming to the final exam, semester end exam, we have different question papers. So if you are an autonomous college, you have the question paper with you, and you can have the question-based marks for each student. Suppose consider this example where we have 25 questions in the question paper. So there are 25 questions in the question paper. And out of these 25 questions, I am picking those questions which are mapped to CO1. all these 25 questions we are mapping to different COs, maybe to CO1, some of them to CO2, some of them to CO3, etc. So we are mapping all these questions to different COs, course outcomes. So I'm considering CO1 now because I'm trying to calculate the attainment of CO1. For that purpose, I am picking those questions which are mapped to CO1. So in this question paper, for example, we have question number 1, 16, 18, 23, and 25. All these 5 questions are mapped to CO1. All these 5 questions are mapped to CO1. And for this particular student, yes, suppose he got 100% mark for question number 1. It's a 1 mark question. He got 1 out of 1. So the question level attainment is 3. So he got full mark for this particular question and it is mapped to CO1. So the attainment of this particular student for this particular question, he got full mark for 3. Don't look at the 4th column now. I will explain it later. For question number 16, the score of the student is 75. Again, the attainment is 3, significant attainment, because he got 75% mark. For question number 18, 50%. It's a 2 mark question, 1 out of 2, 50% only. So the attainment is 1. And for 23, it is 3 out of 5, 60. Question level attainment is 2. And for 25th question, 40% only, attainment is 1. So this particular student, he answered this 25 questions out of 25, which are mapped to CO1, and he got marks like this, that is mentioned in the 2nd column, the percentage of marks, and his attainment for this particular exam, for each question, his attainment is given in the 3rd column. Now my question is, what is the last column? What it mentions? So we have the last column, sorry, a weightage is given. What is it actually? Can anybody guess what it is? PO, level of knowledge gained. Okay. No, it's not PO. Okay, I will explain. Question. Some answers coming. Question is related to CO1. Yes, very good. Okay, question is related to CO1. Yeah, correct. 𝐃𝐚𝐿𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐷𝐸𝐿𝐸. Sir, yeah, your answer is correct. Question is related to CO1. Okay, I will explain what it is. See, this particular question number 1, this is already mapped with CO1 with a mapping strength. So we have, when we discussed about mapping questions with the COs. Okay, so the level of the question, level of the CO, you have to check both. And according to the levels, we have to map. So this question number 1 is mapped to CO1 with a weightage 2. Same way, question number 16 is already mapped to CO1 with a weightage 3. Question number 18 is mapped to CO1 with a weightage 1. That question level mapping is given at the end of at the last column. Whereas the 3rd column, that is the question level attainment. That means the score of the student, how much mark he got for each question. Based on the mark, we have given that the strength there. Okay. Now we are calculating the weighted average. 3 into 2 plus 3 into 3, 1 into 1, 2 into 2, 1 into 3 divided by the weight, 2.09. This is the attainment of a particular student for the semester end exam for course outcome number 1. Similarly, we have to calculate the attainment of CO2, CO3 if there are 5 COs for this particular course, then for the entire courses. This is the process. Okay. Now, how much weightage we are giving for the continuous assessment, and how much weightage we are giving for the final exam for attainment calculation. So here we have 60% weightage for semester end exam and 40% for continuous assessment. But for calculating attainment level, we can give more weightage for continuous assessment, because in a 3-hour examination, we cannot assess the student for the COs. But throughout the semester, we are providing them with different activities, assignments, assessments, many things are there. So we can give more weightage for the continuous assessment. Here I am giving 80% weightage for continuous assessment and only 20% for final exam for the attainment calculation. This is not related to any mark or anything like that. So score attained for the continuous assessment is 1.5 and for final exam is 2.09. Already we have calculated it. So the CO attainment for this particular student, for this one particular course outcome is 1.618. Okay. Then the direct assessment and indirect assessment. Suppose we are conducting a survey, we can give 20% weightage or even 10% weightage for the survey. For the direct assessment, 80% or 90%. So based on the survey, the student might have given this response, like his attainment for CO1, he has mentioned as 2, CO2 for 2, CO3 again 3, like that. And we have calculated the attainment of CO1, CO2, CO3, etc. up to CO5, like this. So this is the final CO attainment for this particular student, for these 5 COs of one course. Okay. Now for the entire class, we have to prepare a table like this, name of the student and the attainment calculation of each of the COs, CO1, CO2, CO3 in each column. And you can convert it into a percentage attainment, average of CO attainment into 100 by 3. Out of 3, we are calculating it. So we'll get the percentage attainment. Or if you want to know the percentage of students attaining more than 60% level in the above case, number of students above 1.8 into 100. That means 1.8 is the 60% level. So these are the analytics we will get from these calculations. Now, the same way we have to calculate PO. Once if you calculate CO, the COs, and COs are already mapped with POs with the respective strengths. The strengths are given there. So based on that, we can have a table like this. We can calculate the PO attainment. The first column is PO1, and the last row of the first column, we can calculate the weighted average, and you will get the PO attainment. So anyway, we cannot calculate this manually. We have to depend upon some tools. I will explain with a tool, then you will understand it more effectively. Same way, we can have a PO attainment. We can have direct and indirect assessments for PO. We can conduct a survey at the end of the program. Then we can add that value. Suppose we are calculating PO1, domain knowledge. Direct assessment, suppose it is 2.16. Indirect assessment, student self-assessment is 3. So we can calculate the final attainment like this, giving 80% weightage for direct assessment and only 20% for indirect assessment. So for a class, we can have a PO and PSO table like this for each student. What is the PO1 attainment? That is in this column. Similarly, for each column represents the PO1 attainment and the PSO also. So again, we can calculate the percentage attainment and the percentage of students getting 60% or like that. Then average attainment, the institutional wise, we can calculate alumni survey, employer survey. Okay, these are the processes I think already mentioned by Dr. 𝐂𝐚𝐿. We can have pen paper test, open book exams with questions mapped to different COs, activities like industry visits, field trips, many things we can have, activities or assignments like this. General activities can be done. All these things we can utilize it for calculating the attainment level. So anyway, I will show you a tool now. So what are the analytical reports we will get if you are using a tool, and with the minimum effort of a faculty, just you upload the marks, you will get the attainment level and all. Okay, we'll skip some of them. I will give my phone number later also. Okay. A student can give high scores to himself, herself, and thereby increase the attainment score. Is it justified, sir? Yeah, actually, we are giving only a small weightage, maybe a 10% weightage for that student applies, assessment. It's not a problem. Out of total marks divided by weightage attainment. Okay, I will do one thing. I will show you a tool so that you can easily understand it. Then we will answer the questions. Okay, suppose if you're using a tool like this, actually we have developed this tool and for the easy calculation of attainment. This is the faculty login where you can just upload the course outcomes. So this is only a one-time activity in the beginning of the semester. You can upload the course outcomes. It's already with you, and you can fix the target, like what should be the target for each course outcomes. These are only indicative outcomes, may not be correct. Just for a demo purpose, I have given some, I have just copied some outcomes from the internet. Okay. So you can have a template and you can upload the course outcomes. And for each course outcome, you can fix a target. Like I have fixed 60% target for some of the outcomes and 50% for one outcome, like that. So it's better initially you can have a comparatively a low target, because over the years you can improve it. Okay. So once if you upload the course outcomes, you can have the mapping, COPO mapping here. Here also we can have all the POs. It's mentioned there. So we can have the mapping. Each CO you can map with the different POs. The mapping strength is given like 1, 2, 3, etc. Okay. So after the COPO mapping, you can go to the summary where I can give you an example. See, for example, here domain knowledge PO1, it's mapped with many of the COs. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is a required thing for the calculation of attainment. And then these activities, it will take only half an hour to map the outcomes, the course outcomes with POs and PSOs, once you are thorough with that process. Okay. Now, the beginning of the semester, when we start assessments, this is the components. We have to add the components every time when you conduct an assessment. Suppose you are having an internal examination, like suppose you have 12 questions for an internal exam. Each of the questions, this is the question, what is GST? It is mapped with the Bloom's taxonomy level. Remember, then one mark, this is a 1 mark question. It is mapped to 2 COs with a strength 2 here and 1 here. Okay. So every question you can map with the Bloom's taxonomy levels and COs. For that purpose, if you have a question bank, it is fine. I will show you that tool also. So for each question, you can map with the different taxonomy levels and the COs. Now, coming to the assignment. Suppose if you have an assignment, at that point of time, you can just add this to the tool, and you can have the criteria for evaluation or the rubrics. For assignment or seminar, we can have rubrics, So if there are no rubrics, this assignment itself, you can directly map with a particular taxonomy level and the different COs. If it is only to one CO, you can have that mapping to that one particular CO. So here we have the rubrics, the criteria for assessment, and each of these criteria, again, you can map with the Bloom's taxonomy levels and COs. Similarly, for group discussion, for any other activity or assignment or seminar, any assessment you are conducting for this particular batch, at that point of time, you can add that information here. And when we conduct exams, that also you can add. And finally, you will get an attainment like this. Attainment calculation, you will get like this. It's very easy. So only the mapping you have to take care of. Then the CO linked course plan you have to plan. And whenever you conduct an assessment, upload the marks, you will get the course outcomes like this. This is the attainment. The first column, you can see the CO1 attainment for each student. Second column, you have the average. Third column, you have the CO2 attainment, like that. This is for one particular batch, for one particular course. Similarly, for each course, you will get the values. And the taxonomy level attainment, that also you'll get out of 3. PO means will be calculated at the end of the program, but semester wise, we can add the value. And we will get some other reports. This is another report. It's very useful for the faculty. You can see the CO1 we have is the target as 60, for CO2 60%. The second row represents the targets. Then the third row represents the average of the attainment for this particular batch for each CO. This is the standard deviation and percentage attainment. This is useful for the accreditation purpose. See how much percentage of the students have achieved that 60% target for CO1. You can see for CO1, the target is 60. So we have fixed the target as 60%, and the percentage attainment is 90% for that batch. Similarly, for CO2, 90%, whereas for CO3, only 17.5% of the students have achieved that target. So in this case, what you can do is, you can have another activity, another assessment or something like that, so that we can bring the students to the desired level. That is also possible. If you have time at the end of the semester, while you are calculating the attainment, so if there is some shortage in the achievement, you can have another activity for the batch, and you can bring the students to the desired level, or we can call it assurance of learning. This is also very much useful for accreditation purpose. So if you are following an assurance of learning concept, definitely you will get a higher score. Okay. So for each course outcome, we will have that percentage attainment and the percentage attainment of the batch is given there. Similarly, we have many other reports available for the HOD. See, I will give some reports. I'll quickly show some of the reports. See, this is a progression report. So if you are actually properly doing it, like the mapping, everything is correct, you can have a proper progression report also. You can see the yellow line, which represents this particular student performance. This is a student by name Abhishek Kumar, how he is progressing over the semesters in the taxonomy level. That is the yellow line, whereas the blue line represents the batch trend, the trend analysis, how the batch is progressing through the semesters. Similarly, for PO, program outcome, how the batch is performing and how the student is performing. So this is very much useful for PTA meetings. So you can convince the parents how the student is performing in comparison with the batch. And again, we can have a semester-wise report of the student. Lot of analytics are available. This is the report of a particular student in comparison with the first semester. How the student is performing in the second semester, taxonomy level, then PO level. You can see upward trend, mostly upward trend in the second semester. Sorry. No, going to the third semester, from second semester, compared to the second semester, you can see the performance is showing a downward trend for this particular student. Similarly, for each student, we can have an analytics based on the inputs. Okay. So more downward trend, or we can identify such students. We can have an outlier report. Suppose a particular student has got some problem in a particular semester with some subjects, or maybe with maybe his personal problem or family problem. We can take remedial measures for that. And these are also helpful for your accreditation purpose. You can have a slow learners report or a outlier report that also is available like this. I'll show you. And you will get a consolidation report like this. For each student, we will get the POs out of 3. What is the PO? And what about the PSO? All these values are available. Just 1 minute. I missed one screen. Just 1 minute. Okay, so we will get many reports if you are using a tool so that you can calculate the attainment level, and also many analytics, and which are useful for your accreditation purpose. So we'll get a slow learners report, we'll get a outlier report. Then for criteria 2, how we are having different strategies for the different type of students like slow learners or advanced learners. So many things we can mention there, and how we are analyzing the students, from where we are getting or classifying the students. We can easily showcase this analytics report. So the only thing is, if you are properly implementing outcome-based education, these reports are accurate reports. Otherwise, they may not be correct. So that is very important. So this is a tool where we can calculate the attainment in an easily way. Okay. So anyway, manually it may not be possible to the attainment calculation. Now, suppose if you have any questions, we will answer them, and I will just show you some other tools also. There are some questions, I think. Okay, a student can, okay. Can we take average of all students' marks for a CO1 instead of individual students for each question? We cannot take average of all students' marks because we are calculating the attainment level for each of the student. For each student, we have to calculate the attainment of CO1, CO2, etc. So definitely we have to consider each student. So this is actually a tool developed by us only. Okay, you can contact us later if you are interested in that. If the students skip the CA components but still do well in the final semester exam, then considering 80% for CA and 20% final exam will not give the proper attainment. It will be okay for Dr. Therese Johnson. Yeah, I will answer that question maybe later. I will show you something else. Higher weightage to final exam opposed to CA. Okay, if the students skip the CA components. Same question. Okay, I will answer it. Can we access the tool? Sir, you can contact us for this tool. What is that? Okay, this is actually a tool developed by us. So if you are interested, we will definitely you can contact us. You can contact us through that contact number is already there, no? Or I will give my number. Okay, I think for such types of questions, I will give you an answer based on by using a Mentimeter. Just I will show you. Just go to this Mentimeter link and please answer. Which activities or assessments is more suitable for implementing OB? That is the question. You can go to that link and you can give the responses there. Otherwise, you can go to menti.com and use this particular code. The code is given on the top of the screen. Go to menti.com and you can use that code 36466115. Which activities or assessments is more suitable for implementing outcome-based education? Okay. So 30 seconds more. Just give your response. Okay. So I think, yeah, some of you have given the responses. Good. Okay. You can see through project work. So learning happens through project work or case study or assignment. Of course, exams are there, but again, internship or seminar. So more learning should happen when we implement outcome-based education. So that is the philosophy. Now consider an examination at the, so for example, end semester exam. The student is writing that exam maybe for 3 hours, and maybe the questions are already there. So here he's answering the questions, and most of the questions in the question paper are in the lower order questions. If you analyze your question papers, I think there was a task the first day to analyze the question papers. You can see most of the questions are from the K1 or K2 levels. Okay, so with that, the student cannot be employable. So when the student do project work or case study or assignment or internship, or even when we conduct seminars, then only the student will learn more and probably look at the higher order learning. So we can, while doing a project work, even it can be a create level assignment. It can be like that. But for examinations, we cannot evaluate the student like that. So it's better for continuous assessments, you can give more weightage for OB attainment calculation. That will be justifiable. Okay. So that is my answer to the question. Overloaded with answers to evaluate. Yeah, there are constraints, definitely. Constraints are there. But for autonomous colleges, we can do it. For universities, we can do it. And according to the new education policy, all the colleges should become degree granting or autonomous. So anyway, in future, we have to implement all these things. And for affiliated colleges, what we are suggesting is we are actually mentoring many of the affiliated colleges also, where we are suggesting for more activities, more continuous assessment activities, which may not be reflected in the mark list, but for implementing OB or for enhancing the quality of education, these are necessary things. Okay. Okay. Then coming to another tool, I will just show you another tool also. We have a few minutes more. So make it very easy. The workload of the faculty members will reduce. And from tomorrow, we'll have a section on ChatGPT and AI tools. If you can use ChatGPT and AI tools, definitely the workload can be reduced further. Even framing questions, many things we can do. This is again another tool we have developed for question paper generation, and many institutions are using it. See here, the questions can be generated in 5 seconds. Okay, so I will show you how the questions can be generated. This is actually for a university or for an autonomous college. They can use it. So once if you have a good question bank, you can generate the questions paper in 5 seconds. Now you can see one question paper is generated. I will just show you the question paper also. So this is a question paper which you have generated now out of electronics, that course electronics. And each of these questions are already mapped with the Bloom's taxonomy levels and the course outcomes. So this information, this data we can bring to the OB tool so that no re-entry is required in the OB tool, so that you can calculate the attainment. So in the same way, if you use many the tools like this, it's easy for us to implement OB. And there are a lot of monitoring and control procedures. I'm not explaining all those things. Just to show you the tool. And again, if you're using a tool like this, the questions you can enter and you can map each and every question with the every question you can map with the Bloom's taxonomy levels and the course outcomes. That also is possible by a simple Excel sheet. By using an Excel sheet, you can do it. I'll show you that Excel sheet also. Outcomes listed there. You can upload the course outcomes, and the codes are also there. So you can type, say, for example, from your unit or first module, you can have a question like subunit. From the first unit, suppose you are adding a question from a topic subunit. Suppose you can type the question again, what is GST? The question. And you can have the taxonomy level, you can map it there. The difficulty level, you can map. Importance level, if required. Nature of the question, you can map. If there is an expiry date, you can map it there. Answer key, you can give there. Placeholder, suppose we are sharing the question bank to the students. If you want to hide a particular question, you can just give a hint so that that question will not be shared to the student. Course outcome, you can map here. Suppose this particular question is mapped to CO1 with a weightage 2. You can map it like this. So already this question is mapped with the taxonomy levels and course outcomes. It's already there. So if the faculty can frame questions like this, that is again an exercise, like they will have more understanding about the taxonomy levels and all. So they are practicing it, they are applying it. So this is the first step when we try to implement OB. We can prepare a question bank, and each and every faculty will be involved in that process so that they will understand the Bloom's taxonomy concepts in a better way. So the rest of the things will be easy for us. Actually, most of the institutions, they are trying to calculate the attainment level in some way or other way. Maybe for the time being, it is okay because even the accreditation agencies, they are not that much strict or particular about the process and all. But in future, with the when we implement NEP, very specific about the OB implementation and all. So every faculty should be aware of these things, and we have to implement it in a better way in every institution. Okay. So this is the way we can practice it. We can have a question. Okay. So this is the way we can practice it. We can have a question bank. Every institution can have a question bank, and we can implement it. Can this OB be implemented in schools? Definitely. Yeah. Definitely, sir. We can implement it in schools, and it's already implemented in many schools. Okay. Definitely, we have class tomorrow. Not tomorrow, sorry, but we have a class on Monday. Okay. This tool is not free. This is actually developed by a team of experts. So there are a lot of inputs from many academicians and technical people, but it's not that much costly. Not costly one. It's the cost is comparatively less, and there's a one-time cost for this question bank. How can we create a question bank in Excel? Okay, I'm not that much familiar with the Excel. I use Excel, but I'm not an expert, so I cannot guide you in that. How we prepare such questions in case of mathematics? Definitely, we can prepare questions by using LaTeX. This tool is being used by Mahatma University in Kerala. They're having more than 300 affiliated colleges. So it's implemented in MG University and many other autonomous colleges in different states, in all the subjects, not only in mathematics, in all subjects, in all languages. It's possible. Okay. Now I will explain the LMS activities also. We have the different tasks and assignments. All the videos are available there. And we have a Padlet on course outcomes. And you can also use Padlets for your classroom activities. So there is a video how Padlet can be used by teachers. This is a Padlet where you can post course outcomes. Some of you have posted. So you can see course outcomes of different courses. So that will be a learning experience for others. And today we have 2 activities. You can download this and you can do the activity. And yeah, there is another Padlet which is on day 5, where you can use ChatGPT and you can frame questions and you can add it there. It's a blank Padlet now. You can add questions there. And again, on day 6, you have another task where you can use ChatGPT and you can design course outcomes. So it will be easy for you. ChatGPT will give you course outcomes. Okay. So in 5 seconds, you can have course outcomes. So we have many other useful tools, reference materials are available there. You can use it. ChatGPT videos are there for prompt engineering, many things available in the LMS. Please go through these resources. Okay. And I explain today's task. I hope this is visible. We have formulation of assessment questions with respect to a course outcome and finding the mapping strength. I think there's some problem with the sharing. I will just stop sharing and once again. Okay. So this is task number 3, formulation of assessment questions with respect to a course outcome and finding the mapping strength. You can have your course outcome, you can write there, and you can have a remember level question, and you can give the mapping strength there. Again, if you have another course outcome, and you can have a question on a understanding level, and you can give the mapping strength here. Just to practice how you can map the questions. Okay. And again, we have one more activity for today. Okay, this is again an Excel sheet. I hope this is not visible. I hope this is not visible. Sorry. Okay. This is an Excel sheet where you can this is a prototype of a computation, CO computation table, CO attainment calculation. Only for your understanding purpose, you cannot use it in the institution because it's only a small prototype. You can give your course outcomes here. Or already CO1 to CO6 is mentioned there, so no need of writing it again. The code is, you can use the same code. Okay. Then question number 1, you can take a question paper and question number 1, you can map to a different SEO with a mapping strength. Suppose I'm mapping this question number 1 with a CO1 with a mapping strength 2. And if the mapping strength is 0 for CO2, you can click that blank space. So it will become 0. Similarly, here also you want to put it 0, put that blank space. The same way. And you can give the maximum mark here. Suppose it's a 1 mark question. For the first question, you can give 1 mark here. No need of writing question here because the question number is already there. Okay. You can select a question paper and do it here. And the second sheet, you can have 10 students, 10 of your students, roll number 1 to 10. For question number 1, what is the mark for roll number 1? So suppose if the student got 1 out of 1, you can mark 1 there. Similarly, for roll number 2, if only 0.5 out of 1, you can put 0.5 like this. Similarly, for 10 students, you can put the values. Sorry. Then you have to put the target for each course outcome. If it is 50% target, you can put 50% there. 60%, you can put 60% there. The number of students, suppose you are considering 10 students, you can put 10 there. That's all from your side, and you will get a scorecard here. The percentage of attainment of each student, everything. Okay. It's only for your practice. So you start with the first sheet where you can have the course outcomes, questions which can be mapped to different CEOs with the different mapping strengths. Okay. And maximum mark also you have to put for each question. And the second column, sorry, second sheet, for each student, what is the mark? Okay. And the target number of students. And finally, in the third sheet, you will get the score sheet. So you can practice it. There are 2 tasks today. You can go through those 2 tasks. Okay. There are some questions. What is expected students teachers ratio to do this? Actually, don't worry about these things. Like if you are using ChatGPT and AI tools, you can reduce your workload. And once if you start doing OB implementation, and maybe in the first year it may be difficult, but the coming years you will be more used to it. It won't increase your workload. I will give my phone number if you want to contact me for any further assistance. Put it in the chat box. Is there any end date for submitting assignments? Yeah, actually, this LMS access is available after the FDP. Maybe you can check with the team what is that last date. But it will be anyway 1 week more. Too many in terms of, yeah, ChatGPT definitely will have resources. Tomorrow we have 3 days session for ChatGPT and AI tools. You will find it interesting and you can reduce your workload. Don't worry. Can we have resources later to me? Yeah. So what is the code you have written in question? I couldn't understand what is the code. So you have classes on Monday, that is 14th. There is a section on Monday. Then 16th, 17th, and 18th is the last day. And the next 3 days, you'll get more information about ChatGPT and AI tools. Then, on the last day, we will again explain how you can utilize ChatGPT and AI tools for the implementation of OB, so that you can reduce your workload. At the same time, even you can design a syllabus in half an hour with all the contents, the reference materials, the CEOs, everything. Okay. So you will learn all these things in the next 3 days. Sir, you can contact me. My number is already there. So I will give you an idea about the assessment tools. We're talking about K level. What does K stand? K means knowledge level. K1, K2, K3, up to K6. K1 means the remember level. K2 is the understand level. K3 is the apply level. Similarly, last one, K6 is the create level. Course access duration, unlimited access. Okay, 27 August. So you'll get access up to August 27. I think I have answered all the questions. Thank you very much. So we will see you again on the last day. So the next 3 days, we have a section by Dr. Suresh Nambudiri. He's an expert in these ChatGPT and AI tools. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So now for the vote of thanks, I welcome Brighty Robert, Assistant Professor, Department of History, Carmel College, Autonomous Mala.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Carmel College Mala, I take this opportunity to propose vote of thanks to those who have directly and indirectly contributed to this session. At the outset, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to the esteemed speaker of the day, Dr. Mendes Jacob, CEO of IPSR Solutions, who gave a wonderful session on outcome-based education and outcome-based evaluation. We are really enlightened and thoroughly understood about this calculation method in CO-PO mapping by your live assessments, and thank you, sir, for your valuable session. And I would like to express my gratitude to all the participants who actively engaged in the session as well as discussion. Thank you all. And I want to extend a vote of thanks to our organizing team for making this event happen so beautifully. We all are look forward for more informative session in the coming day of FDP. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, ma'am. So with that, I would like to bring today's session to a close. So we look forward to reconvening our next session, that is on Monday at the same time at 2 p.m. So kindly complete the activities in the LMS by that time. Have a great day. Thank you.